They say empires never fall. That's what the citizens inside them believe. Rome once thought it was eternal. So did the world's most powerful nations that followed. But history has a cruel sense of humor. It whispers warnings in plain sight, warnings we often ignore. What if the cracks we see today aren't just cracks, but the early tremors of an empire on the brink? We like to think we're smarter, more advanced, untouchable. But the truth? Rome was smart, advanced, and unstoppable until it wasn't. From military overstretch to political decay, runaway inequality, inflation, and the collapse of shared truth, the parallels between ancient Rome and the modern world are chilling. Today, we're going to break down 5 clear signs that suggest history might not be repeating, but it's rhyming. And if we don't pay attention, we could be writing the next empire's obituary with our own hands. Rome's strength was its army. Its downfall began the moment that strength became a burden. At its height, the Roman Empire stretched from the misty shores of Britain to the deserts of Mesopotamia. Thousands of miles of borders, countless provinces, countless threats. Protecting all of it was a nightmare. Soldiers rushed from one front to another, constantly patching crises, never resting, never secure. The treasury bled, corners were cut, and citizens grew weary. Rome's solution was predictable. They hired mercenaries, foreign soldiers, men who fought for gold, not loyalty. The very army that built the empire became hollowed out, undisciplined, and in many cases, turned on the empire itself. Fast forward to today. The United States maintains over 750 military bases in 80 countries. Endless conflicts, trillions of dollars spent, lives sacrificed. Just like Rome, the cost of policing the world stretches the nation thin. Citizens grow distant from the military class. Wars drag on with no clear purpose. And the foundation beneath this global power starts to shake. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And the verses of overstretch and endless wars are echoing louder than ever. Will we learn? Or will we wait until it's too late? Rome didn't collapse overnight. Its political decay was slow, subtle, and insidious. Laws were ignored. Violence became routine. During the crisis of the 3rd century, the empire burned through more than 20 emperors in just 75 years. Many were murdered, many died on the battlefield, and most were little more than pawns of corrupt guards and opportunistic elites. The Senate, once a place of debate, became a rubber stamp. Public service turned into a prize to be won, often through bribery or bloodshed. Citizens lost faith. They no longer saw leaders as protectors. They saw gangsters fighting over the scraps of a failing empire. Today, we witness similar cracks. Across the Western world, faith in governments, media, and even elections is plunging. Political opponents aren't just rivals, they are enemies. Compromise is weakness. Scandals that would once topple careers now barely make a ripple. The system of checks and balances, the mutual respect that holds democracy together, feels fragile. When citizens stop trusting the pillars of their own society, they walk the same path Rome once did, and the warning signs are flashing red. Roman society was a world of extremes. A handful of elites owned estates the size of counties. They lived in luxury, fed by armies of slaves. Lavish villas, gladiator games, public spectacles. The wealthy lived in a bubble of decadence while the majority struggled. The poor were crowded into unsafe apartments, reliant on grain handouts, distracted by bread and circuses. The gap between rich and poor created tension. Populist leaders promised crumbs from the elite's table. Riots, uprisings, and civil war were never far behind. Sound familiar? In today's world, the top 1% hold more wealth than most countries combined. Billionaires can gain billions in a single day, while millions struggle to pay rent or put food on the table. Secure jobs are vanishing. The middle class, the backbone of stability, shrinks. People feel powerless, disenfranchised, frustrated. Inequality doesn't just breed resentment, it weakens society from within. It makes nations fragile, ripe for radical ideas, extreme movements, and social unrest. Rome didn't collapse from a single blow. It crumbled under the weight of a society split in two. And unless we address this growing divide, we may be repeating the same mistake. Rome paid for its empire the way empires often do, by printing money, or rather by debasing it. The silver denarius of old was once nearly pure. Over time, emperors mixed in cheap metals. Soldiers were paid, bills were settled, but the people quickly realized the coins were worth less than they appeared. Inflation soared, savings vanished, trade collapsed, poverty spread. Today, modern governments have fancier tools: quantitative easing, near-zero interest rates, endless money creation. The principle is the same. Pump enough money into a system, and the currency loses value. Housing prices, food prices, everyday essentials, everything rises. The modern citizen pays, often without noticing, a hidden tax on an invisible empire. Economic decay, like military overstretch and inequality, doesn't announce itself. It creeps, it compounds, and if ignored, it can destabilize everything: politics, trust, society. Rome's debasement of currency is mirrored in the slow, almost invisible erosion of economic stability we see today. Finally, Rome fell because it lost a story, a shared reality. The empire was held together by collective beliefs, traditions, and truth. But in the late empire, truth became whatever those in power said it was. Rival generals minted coins with their faces and slogans. Competing narratives spread confusion. Citizens no longer shared a single reality. Sound familiar? Today, the internet and social media were supposed to connect us. Instead, they fragment us. We live in echo chambers. Truth is subjective. Division is amplified. Everyone argues not just over facts, but over which version of reality matters. The glue that holds society together is fraying. History shows that when a society cannot agree on what is real, it cannot govern itself. When citizens can't even trust the world around them, the empire begins to crumble from the inside out. Rome teaches us a final lesson. Empires fall when their shared reality shatters. The last generation of Romans didn't know they were the last. They were just trying to survive, to live their lives in a chaotic world. We don't have that excuse. The signs are all around us: military overstretch, political rot, extreme inequality, economic instability, and the collapse of shared truth. History may not repeat, but it rhymes, and the echoes are growing louder every day. We can ignore them, or we can listen, learn, act, change the ending. The question isn't whether we are repeating Rome. The question is, will we recognize the warning signs before it's too late? If this gave you insight into the hidden patterns shaping our world, hit like, subscribe, and join the Capital Empire. Together, we'll uncover the lessons of history and maybe, just maybe, rewrite the future.